Hello, everybody. We are back with our Final Four episode, joined here by a Final Four participant and co-host, Chris DeFalco.
Oh, that's correct. I got a big week ahead of me here, so excited to get into it.
Big week. We got the Final Four. We got Tom matching up against Chris, the Butt Buddies. We got Bino facing off against Derek. So Bino is the only one who's won in this Final Four. So, there could be a new champion, or Brian could be the second two-time champion versus me, obviously. Humble brag. But let's start and let's recap the matchups of the semifinals because it came really down to the wire. And let's start with Brian versus Adam. I mean, this was just a bad beat for Adam.
Terrible beat.
I mean,
Terrible beat.
you got to be sending Darnell Mooney something. He 0
Gotta.
points is absolutely unacceptable.
You just can't. You can't.
If I pull it up here, so I wish there was like a time view of what happened the whole time. Oh, Chris, I can hear your audio a little bit.
All right. Think tight.
Short intermission. All right, much
Okay.
better. So I think Adam, when it came to Monday night, it was the he had oh okay yeah Brian had the kicker
Right.
and then
Adam had Mooney and the defense.
for the Vikings.
Yes.
Yes. So I think Adam's win probability was like up there the whole night, but Darnell Mooney just 0 points. That really fucked him. I mean, is there anybody? I mean, there's probably a bunch of guys on this bench that you're like, should have played Quentin Johnston, should have played this guy, should have played that guy, but I feel like Mooney's been all right, so I don't know if you could really fault that.
Yeah. Not really an owner issue. It wasn't a bad play, wasn't a bad call here. Was just bad luck. You just you really can't
Wide
say
receiver
it's
tw
not.
wide receiver 23 on the year. And I'm just looking at his game logs here.
Now, did he have any targets? Let's see. Hold on.
He had
Let's see.
one target right here.
What
Can you see
what
my
week was
screen?
it? What week was this?
This was
Week
week.
14 target.
Yeah, he had
What?
one target. I'm showing you.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. I want to see. Let's see if we can get this clip up here. Let's see if somebody clipped it.
What the target?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah. How long was the target? Is
I'm
I guess the
curious. I'm
question.
curious.
It was a 20-yard target. That is the difference. All right. Yep. That would have been the difference right there. It's a 2 point,
I mean, a catch, just one catch.
one catch
Didn't even
for
need, yeah, yeah. Can't find it. Nobody's clipped it.
one catch for
It's a tough
18
one.
yards. Yeah, you could probably look at the stats on the depth of the target, but you'd probably have to like do a little bit of deep dive.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I'll say though is Derrick Henry, 6.7 points against the Giants. I mean, I don't know how much money Vegas made on Sunday, but just on that alone, I'm sure there are people betting Derrick Henry anytime touchdown in their parlays, Derrick Henry 2 touchdowns, Derrick Henry 100 yards, and this dude comes away with 6.7 points. And Justice Hill, meanwhile, has 17.8 points. So honestly, I know Darnell Mooney really like didn't come through on Monday, but Derrick Henry 6.7 points. I feel like that probably ruined a lot of people's seasons.
Yeah.
That is his lowest point total
No,
of
yeah.
the
I mean, he's
of
basically he's had a touchdown pretty much every game, whether rushing or receiving, except for the last 2 weeks.
yeah. Yeah,
And
even
then the
those
bye
weeks that he
week.
fortunate.
Then the bye week.
Uh, it's yeah. I mean, both of those are bad beats. Now, I guess kudos to Brian. Who did he play? He played Jerome Ford, did he? Jeez. Jerome Ford used to be on my team. Somehow snuck his way
He had
into.
a fat touchdown, I think.
I know he did. How did Brian end up playing this guy? I mean, he could not have felt great about
I
that
mean,
going into it.
he's got no other running backs. I mean, Nick Chubb, I think Nick Chubb did have a broken foot or something.
Oh, did he not play?
Um,
Man, yeah, this dude had 7 for 84. Yeah, I think I
yeah,
saw
I
that.
don't,
I think I saw that long run.
yeah. Uh, I mean, it was certainly, I think it might third or fourth quarter. It wasn't early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, and then yeah, and Brian. Now we'll talk about the semifinals, but Brian's running backs not ideal. I mean, Rico
Not ideal.
Dowdle, Jerome Ford got him through last week, but we'll see what happens coming up here. So Adam, tough one, brother. I was a little bit disappointed. Obviously, I wanted to see a Pope Winnie Bowl in the semifinals again, like we did have last year. So Brian spoiled that one a little bit, but best man won, I guess. And
Yeah.
then good.
No, no, no. That's just, yeah. I mean, um, yeah, best man won.
I want
That's
to
it.
talk through the Tom and Jagger matchup, which also came down to the wire.
Yeah. So this one was not exciting here up until the last minute. It wasn't a seesaw battle. Tom got out to an early lead. Excuse me. Let me start with the Thursday night game here. San Francisco against the Rams might be the worst fantasy game of all time because when you think about the players, Cooper Kupp, Nakua, Kyron Williams, the 49ers have a bunch of weapons that people have on their teams, and there was no touchdown scored. So we're talking here about an all-time stinker. So the matchup started off hot of Brock Purdy 3.9 points and Cooper Kupp with zero. I think they said this was Cooper Kupp ran the most amount in a game with zero catches. So we're talking here about an all-time bad break to start the week. Tom went into panic mode saying, "That's it, I'm gonna lose, blah blah blah."
Which I didn't understand that because
Which I don't
Cooper
understand
Cup
either because
0 points.
right. I mean, you could say the QB, maybe it's the QB, but when you look at like the upside, Cooper Kupp was the guy who like if he put up 30 points, you were like, ah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So kind of got away with that. Out comes Sunday. Tom's got his big dogs going in the early window.
Shout
Jagger
out
has his
Devontae
QB
Adams.
going in the early window, but he's got Amon Ra and James Conner going in the late window, I think.
Yes.
So now we're talking. Tom gets out to a big lead. Devonta Adams garbage time touchdown, even though it was to win.
Yeah, it was
But
garbage time. It was just between
but
garbage
it was
teams.
it was more of like it was like an Austin Eckler esque
Yeah.
bullshit 85-yard touchdown at the end of a game that's worth 15 points on top of something else. And then we're sitting here thinking, okay, there's no way Tom loses between him and Scary Terry. You look at it and Tom had a big lead. 4 clocks roll around and the lead hit the brakes. Um, Amon Ra, James Conner. I think they both had 2 touchdowns. They both had 30 plus points, and all of a sudden Jagger was back in it. Some would say, the Broncos D figured the
That was
Colts were going to
huge.
be turning the ball over. A couple TDs, 19 points there doesn't hurt. And then, we're sitting here thinking, oh, now we got to watch Jacoby Myers on Monday night. You got to be sitting there tight all game long if you're Tom.
100%.
Um, only to be 0 points through the first 3 quarters, and then 5 catches for 59 points in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, which almost brought Jagger back. Um, would have been an all-time matchup. I think it would have been arguably the best matchup of all time if the comeback was complete, but it fell short. And this is just something we're going to talk about. You know, as a great matchup. So
ESPN Instant Classic.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's on
I
there.
mean, it is up there. That you have to if you're Jagger, like Chargers defense, they've been good, they've been solid. Position ranked number 7. You can't really fault him playing them against the Bucks. The -4 is a tough beat. Now he did have the Packers on the bench, with 16 points. It's a tough one. They're the fifth ranked defense, so that's one you're kicking yourself over. But I think the bigger one is Cooper Kupp 0 points, and yes, the Broncos defense on that interception on that trick play. I
Yeah,
mean,
my
that
God.
was wild. Because without that, Tom doesn't win. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah,
of without,
yeah,
without this, without that, without the Devontae.
yeah,
I think Devontae Adams had like 150 yards in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. It was like something
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
I mean, both of the semifinal matchups were nuts. But yeah, the Jacoby Myers thing, too. I was looking and I went to bed because I don't care. I've been out of the league. I was like, I went to bed. I just checked the score real quick. I saw Jacoby Myers 0 points. I was like, like this is a wrap. And then I obviously checked the next day and it got really close, which again was nuts. But Tom said he didn't watch any of the game. Are you buying that?
I mean, that's a tough one to buy here. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
there's just no way you're not watching. Although Tom, I've heard back and forth. I've heard Tom, in his gambling days of going to sleep and not watching the game, but I've also heard how he couldn't sleep because he knows he's got a bet in. So there's some stories here. We're gonna have to figure out what the truth is one day, but
Well,
I think he was certainly paying attention, and if he wasn't watching it, as soon as his eyes opened up, he was reaching for his cell
yeah.
phone.
Yeah. I mean, probably at like 3 a.m. if he woke up, he was like,
Yeah,
let me just check.
going to take a leak, and
Um,
he's like, "Oh, let me look at my phone."
and then he
I
was
know that. I
probably
know that move, Tom. I know that
hyped.
move.
He was probably hyped. So, great semifinals. Congrats to the winners here. I was actually meaning to look at some of the league history here just to see. Chris, do you recall how many times you've been in like a Final Four sort of situation?
I was talking to Derek about this. Um, Final Four
Can't see it.
situation. I think I finished right there. I finished. Look at 2020. What was 2020? No, that's 2021.
2020 had a bad
No,
year.
I was terrible. That was my worst year. I think just twice I finished second.
So twice you finished second.
Yeah, this year was the year with the asterisk. I finished fourth
But what do you mean you finished fourth? Which year?
that
This
year.
year?
Yes.
Oh, Thielen good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that counts. That's a
No, no,
Final Four.
that's
Oh,
2018 is a year that, when you look back at
oh,
history, that's a little bit of a shaky year.
no,
I'm not saying you
no.
can't claim a title that year. I'm just saying we're talking about, the ye old 2 week playoff matchup
Well,
into week 17. So
well,
I'm just
well, well,
saying,
well. I'm
if
just
you run that
saying.
simulation 10 times, the outcome could be different.
I
That's all
beat
I'm saying.
Jagger in the
All I'm
first
saying.
week
That's
and the
all I'm
second
saying.
week. That's all I'm
That's all I'm
saying.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
So
All I'm saying.
okay, Chris has been. This is your third Final Four appearance, then, right?
Oh, Final Four. Final Four.
Yes, yes, yes. Final Four.
21, 22, 23. It's my fourth straight.
21, 22, 23,
I
24. So
finished second, fourth.
it's your fifth. So this is your
fifth
fifth
all
then.
time. Yeah, yeah. But again, the first
Wow.
year, so we're just going
That's
with
up
four.
there. That's up there. Now, if we look at Brian, let B Johns be B Johns. Brian
He's
was
in
in
there.
the
Yeah, second. He finished first in 2022.
Brian finished. No, that was Adam. That's Adam.
That's Adam, Adam,
Sorry,
Adam. No,
Adam. So
Ryan was flop. No.
yeah, the name changes are tricky here.
Can you scroll up a minute? Wait, go back to 2023, 2022. Scroll down. No, keep going. Jeez, you're on an all-time stinker, huh?
Yeah, last three. What was that? 4 years?
9, 10, and last, huh?
Yeah, I mean the franchise. We're not talking
Look,
about
I'm
me
just
though.
saying. I'm
I'm
just
not. I'm not in
saying.
the. I'm not in the
I'm just
playoffs.
saying.
I'm not
I'm
in the
just
playoffs.
saying. A
I've had some
nine,
bad
a
beats.
nine, a 9 to a 10, or a 10 to a 9 to a 12.
This team was
Losing
good.
eight,
This team was
losing eight,
good.
losing eight straight.
Cooper Cup towards
I'm
it.
saying look,
He tore his
it
Achilles.
builds for an argument for 2018. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
2018, my
Put
team
my
was
hands up.
loaded. All
Put my
right.
hands
Enough
up.
about
Put my hands
enough
up.
about me. Now the first 4 years though, I will say I had a I did not have an uncompetitive game until 2022, which means I had been in the playoffs every game and had been in the final four. And then 2022 was the first time. Now I have not been back to the playoffs. But again, we're not talking about me. Talking
Also,
about
wait. Hold on. Can we go back 2021? Go back. Can you go back to 2021? This was the year that Frank won. Do I get an extra Final Four appearance for picking Frank's team?
that would be six. That would be six for you. That one's under league invest. I mean, that's not under league investigation, but a lot of people out there saying that, this was a Fugazi. Frank was not at the draft, obviously, and they had to pick his team, and Chris picked his team, and what you picked like all the best players allegedly.
There was discussions about who Frank was taking.
Well, he only picked like the first five guys, right?
Yeah, and then I picked the rest of them. But
Okay, so
anyway,
we'll keep you at five. We'll keep you at five. So five Final Four. I think Brian has a good amount too. This is so he had one 2022 was when he won, so that's one. 2021, nah, he wasn't in there. So it was his second, third. There's chocolate beans. I know that's him.
yeah, I feel like Brian's been
Fourth,
good.
fourth.
No, he
So I don't
was.
think. What?
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is fourth Final Four appearance. Derek, this is his second, right? Uh, no, Austin 316. I think this was
no,
him.
yeah, yeah.
One, two. This is his third. And is this Hanley's first? I
I
think
think
it
so.
is. So Hanley's first. So okay. In terms of the final four participants, this is Chris's fifth, I guess. Fifth.
I think it's fifth. Yeah.
Brian's fourth, Derek's second, and Tom's first. So let's go to the matchups here. Uh where is the playoff bracket? Here she is. She's beautiful. We'll start with La Cosa Nostra versus Strictly Business. Now, there's a lot of green check marks on Chris's side here. So as I look at this matchup, I always like to also look at, when's this going to be decided by? And I believe that this is going to be decided by, I think the 4 o'clocks. I don't think anyone has going later, right?
No, I have Mike Evans going on Sunday night.
Okay, so Sunday night. So there's a potentiality here that, Tom's up and then Mike Evans needs like, call it 10 points,
Could
something
be.
like
Yeah,
that.
it could be.
That could be the
Be
scenario.
fucking glued to
Now,
my TV.
you not go to bed?
No.
Uh,
Hell no.
now I did want to talk because I don't know if I love this matchup over here or this view, but so Tom started Jared Judy last week and he went off for him 20 points. is not starting him this week. He's got Keenan Allen going up against the Lions instead.
Go to full box score in the middle.
Yeah, I tried doing that. I mean, I could look at his like, yeah. So now Jerry Judy, they took they benched Jameis, which is terrible because everyone loves Jameis. But now we're benching Jerry Judy. I don't know. It's a tricky one because the Bengals have a Swiss cheese defense. Now you have Dorian Thompson Green in, or whatever his name is. There's a bunch of I almost said Jersey Jerry Judy, and again for Keenan Allen. Like I don't know here, and I know you're not going to give any advice on this one, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. The other thing I wanted to call out about this matchup is Terry McLaurin is a notorious man-to-man beater, I believe. He struggles against zone defenses. The last time he played the Eagles, he only had 2 points. So I'd be a little bit nervous about that one going into this. And if I look at your team, Christopher, yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty wagony. Now, Lamar's going up against the Steelers. That could be a low-scoring game. You got Kyron against the Jets, who at this point should be trying to lose games. Tony Pollard, Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans against the Cowboys. It looks all green for you. Brian Thomas Jr., who went off last week, and you're playing the Raiders, who stink. So, I think the spread here says it all. It's a 15-point spread. Tom is quoted as saying in a group chat earlier this week that he's got nothing to lose. So that's the perspective he's taken. I will say, Chris, you do have a lot to lose here.
A ton. I'm nervous.
What are you nervous about?
I'm nervous about my team laying an egg. You look
got the
back at the
matchups.
matchups. Yeah, but look back at the matchups from the last 3 years. I've had the better team and they laid eggs. Look like Derek's team last 2 weeks laid an egg. Kamara's out. We'll get to that. But my point being is that look at the last time we played, it put up 93 points, man. That could happen any week. Lamar's going up against Pitt D. What could I do about that? Tony Pollard. If Tony Pollard doesn't play, I'm screwed because Charbonnet's might not even be playing, and I think Ken Walker's back. I had to drop the Niners running back because I needed a defense because Pitt's going up against the number one offense. So, I picked up the Texans D thinking Mahomes wasn't playing, and of course Mahomes is fucking playing. So
Saturday.
that's I'm both my defenses are on Saturday and they're going up against the Ravens and the Chiefs. So
I forgot about Saturday matchups.
that's going to be a little bit tough. I picked up Goff so that Tom couldn't get Goff because he needed a QB potentially because Purdy is who the hell knows. So a little defense there, but yeah, I mean, I really need Lamar not to lay an egg against the Steelers. If he puts up 25 points, I get a touchdown out of Kyron Williams and I get 15 out of Justin Jefferson, I'll have a good chance to win. If those things don't happen, it's going to be tough.
Pollard didn't play ankle. We'll see about that. Didn't practice, I mean. And then
Tajee Spears, I think last week had 29 points.
He did. Now, but Charbonnet
is nice.
But he's also questionable.
He's questionable.
Practice in a limited fashion.
Yeah. If this guy was playing, man, it'd be a league winner.
Wait, but Ken Walker, he didn't.
I think he's playing.
Oh, he is playing.
I think Ken Walker's playing.
He didn't practice on Wednesday. If I quickly switch back to Brian's team here. Did he practice today? Practice fully Thursday. Okay. So he didn't practice Wednesday, but he practiced fully Thursday. So we'll get back to that real quick here. But yeah, I mean, you need Pollard to play. Otherwise, who are you going to go with?
That's a tough one. I mean, I'm just going to be screwed. I guess it was a risky move, but Pollard wasn't.
You have to go with
Pollard wasn't he wasn't questionable last week. I don't think Charbonnet is going to play.
That's what Tom's going to be hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm screwed.
So we kick off with this matchup tonight: Broncos against the Chargers. So we'll see how that one goes. There's no other matchups here. So again, the matchups are saying that it should be an easy one for you, but it's never easy in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
it's not going to be easy.
It's never easy.
It's
It's always
never
a
easy.
sweat.
Yeah,
So let's
yeah.
pan over to the second matchup. We got Brian Bino Rivera against Derek Hope Winnie, aka Mayfair Mafia. Now, what Brian's running into here is obviously he's a big Eagles fan. And Derek's got freaking everybody on the Eagles. So be interesting to hear from Brian, if the Eagles totally laid an egg, would he actually care? Because obviously Derek's gonna then his team would be shafted. But I think the Eagles did they already clinch a playoff berth? I think so.
Who? The Eagles?
The,
Yeah, they're
the
fighting for
Eagles.
first place though.
They're fighting for first place, but clinched the playoff berth. So it's really going to come down to that game. It's like this. He's got three guys on. He's got his top three guys going 1 o'clock. I don't think Brian has anybody going in that game. So that's a huge game. Everyone's going to be watching that. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
Yeah, I think I think it could be a very good matchup. I think Brian needs the Bengals to have a great offensive game. I think he needs that to be a shootout. Get Burrow and Njoku and T. Higgins all in a high scoring game. I mean Derek's team, he's got Brock Bowers, he's got Saquon, he's got Jalen Hurts. So if the Eagles game is a good offensive game, I think he's gonna win it. So those are really the two games I think you could focus on, and depending on how they go, it'll be that's where you can find the winner of the matchup.
Yeah, AJ Brown questionable, but seems like it's like knee slash rest, pretty much load management there. David Njoku is questionable. I think David Njoku is the tight end 10. I think Brian was trying to trade me David Njoku at one point during the season. And I was like, he's trash. And Brian told me he's going to finish as a top 10 tight end. And I said, I will pay your league fee next year if David Njoku finishes as a top 10 tight end. So that one might come back to get me. Hopefully, Brian deletes his like text messages and doesn't have that one. But didn't participate on Thursday. It's a hamstring. That could be a tough one. So who does Brian have backup tight end? Brenton Strange. I don't know if you want. I don't know who if
Yeah,
that's who you want. Now he did
you
have
can't.
18 points last week, but
You can't. You just cannot.
now maybe that's like a Mac Jones connection because he went off and that was his first game. I think that was Mac Jones' first game or his second game. I don't know, but that would suck for Bino. I mean, Derek Seam looks fully healthy. The other one is T Higgins here. I feel like T Higgins is always hurt.
He
This dude
always
is.
always has a check. Always has a questionable thing next to his name.
They should just David Higgins and put a Q like in his name. Limited participant one day earlier, didn't practice Thursday, but felt good enough to do side work with the training staff. So he should play. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. He needs this to be a shootout. Now,
Needs.
I wonder what the weather is going to be like on Wednesday in Cincinnati, or Sunday in Cincinnati. Let's get a look at that. Uh, Side note, Roki Sasaki met with the Mets.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. What's the weather? What are we looking at? Weather.com. Let's see. What are we
Cleveland
looking at?
weather. No, this is in Cincinnati.
Oh, it's in Cincinnati.
I
Is
mean,
it?
same
Yeah.
thing, I
No.
guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cincinnati, Cleveland. It is going to be a brisk. All right, it'll be 33 degrees. That's manageable. Manageable and sunny.
Oh, thanks. Uh, let's see. Where's this weather? 10-day forecast. Where's the 10-day? Where's the 10-day?
I just said it, 33 degrees.
I'm checking on weather. What day is this? Sunday?
Sunday, Sunday.
Yeah, no
No
rain. That's
precipitation.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Humidity, Okay, light wins. Light wins. Okay. I mean
Light
that
wins.
should tee up for a good offensive game.
It should be. Now on the Eagles versus Redskins side of things, that game is in that's in DC, right?
It
Now I know
is
it's gonna be
in
cold here
DC.
this week. It's I mean Sunday for us it's gonna be 33 and I'm seeing snow. No, I don't know what it's gonna be like in DC, but the
Not
weather
great.
is did you look at the weather in DC?
Okay.
Let me look at it. Let me look it up real quick. Sunday 32 degrees, so should be I guess
Again, another one.
fair conditions. Uh, so we'll see what happens. I think this one, if I look at, I hate that I can't see they have to fix their UI here. I can't see when they're all playing, but I think Derek has. Oh yeah, Derek has. Now, I was gonna say about Derek's team here. If they lay eggs, you're a little bit concerned about Christian Watson in the flex here. It's not the guy that I would want in the flex if I was in the semifinals. Now,
No.
you got Jalen Waddle on the bench, but I mean, you can't. He had 0 points last week, so you can't start Jalen Waddle at this point. But I mean, that can. How about Kareem Hunt? Now they got Pacheco back. Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. Now it is on Monday, so kind of like if you're down at least. You always have that last glimmer of hope on Monday, and he's also got Kondre Miller playing. The Kamara injury is significant, obviously.
Tough. That's a tough one.
Is he now? The question is, would he play the next week? But I guess Derek just has to
No,
try to
no, no.
get
I
to
think they
him.
said it was season ending.
Oh, season ending! You heard it here first.
I think I saw
Season.
Schefter tweet. They're initially believe that if he's going to be out, he's going to be out for the rest of the year.
That is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, not great.
Um, yeah. So I mean, now Christian Watson is a guy. He can go off. He can't knock. He could have four receptions, 150 yards, or just
Yeah.
0 points. So I can guarantee that Derek's a little bit nervous about that one, but you have to look at Brian's team and kind of say, okay, well, the running backs aren't great. Hopefully, he's got a big advantage there with Saquon and even Keandre Miller, even though he's the backup. Oh, that is not good. That
No.
always happens on this laptop or computer. So. Yeah, those are the matchups. Looking forward to. I mean, this weekend in terms of football is nuts. I didn't know because historically, like the NFL would have the Saturday games, right? Because
Yeah.
college football wasn't going anymore. But now college football has the playoff games on Saturday, but the NFL didn't yield and was like, oh, we'll just play all of our games on Sunday. No, they said, fuck it, we're going to play on Saturday. So you're going to have
Yeah.
NFL and college football on Saturday and then just NFL on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be quite the weekend for football.
It'd be sick.
Shout out Penn State playing at 12.
Yeah. We need that
I'll,
one. We need
I'll,
that one.
I'll see you at Texas, Arizona.
No thanks.
Uh, and yeah, anything else we have to cover off on here? I think there were some questions. Oh, yes, there were some fan questions. I think Matt asked, will there be another vote for kicker next year?
We're not getting into this. We're not getting into this
We're not
because
discussing.
no, no, no. We're just gonna let all these bad breaks happen to people, and maybe after it happens to people, they'll actually think about, what we're doing here, and then they'll ultimately vote against it.
'Cause I
So
think technically Adam, if there was no kicker, now you have to you play the what ifs because then you have another flex or whatever we would do. I think Adam would be in the semis right now, so maybe you get a swing
and
vote
Jagger
there.
and Jagger.
Oh, and Jagger. Tom's
So
kicker went
both
off.
playoff matchups. Well, are we saying just kickers? I'm saying kicker defense. Jagger's defense was -4 and Tom's defense was 19. I get like I can agree there's some strategy with defense, right? But like in in fantasy football, your defense is realistically banking on somebody else's mistakes, whereas on offense, you control the game, which is what we should be picking for, is the people who get their hands on the ball and can make a play to make a change. That's what you're betting your money on. The guys who make a change, not
What?
who like has Jameis Winston throwing the ball to them is like, okay, like which quarterback's going to have a bad day today, right? Like that is all luck. There's no skill behind that.
Well, yeah, I mean, even with the kicker, and if we remove the kicker, I think then Jagger would have actually had a worse outcome because he had 16 versus
Yes.
Tom 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be voted on again. What else do we have? Oh, Fada asked if Brian Dable is going to be fired. That's not really
Um,
a fantasy football question here, but
probably.
you think he's gone?
Yeah. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, I mean, the
Unfortunately, so
Giants
you like
stink.
him.
So whatever. No, just like it's starting again. So it is what it is. I
Deion
mean,
Sanders is coming.
no, he's not. That'd be bad.
Deion
Dude. You think
and
John Mara's
Shador.
putting up with Deion Sanders? No way.
John, they're flying.
I mean, he would sell tickets. John Mara loves selling tickets. He would.
They're
He
flying
would.
planes over the stadium. Is that
Yeah,
Devin doing
I
that,
heard.
by the way? Do you know what Devin's
I
doing on
heard.
Sundays?
I heard a take on the radio today. They said the Giants fans should stop doing that because that's providing extra motivation to try to win these games, which is worse for us. So they should stop doing that and just
No,
let
it's
the
not.
Giants sink. I mean, it makes sense.
The motivation's not working now.
Well, no. Well, that's because they're so bad. But I'm saying like
Yes.
let's not win this meaningless game against the Falcons in Week 15. That's going to put us back to seventh picking.
Well, I mean,
That's a game. That's an organizational changing play.
the Giants have not won a game at home this year,
No,
right?
no,
Which
nope.
that is a tough one. I know the Jets stink too, but at least you don't have the stat. Oh, the New York Rangers won a game at
Yeah,
home.
more recently than the
The
Giants. Yeah, that's a tough one.
but you also have the Colts week the next week at home, I
Yeah,
believe. So I mean
yeah.
that's a game you could win, and then the last
Well,
game against the
They would
Eagles.
be the first team ever to lose 9 games at home.
Oh, because it's the first time they've had
Yeah,
expanded. But
because
then
I mean, the Lions who were 0 and 16 were 0 and 8 at home technically.
now you do play the Eagles the last game at the link.
They're
The
gonna need
Eagles,
they're gonna need it
you're
for the bye or
oh the
for
Eagles,
yeah.
the Eagles will.
Well, because they're
Okay,
playing them and the Lions, I think are tied, but I think the Eagles have the tiebreaker.
okay. So you're just
So the
hoping that they're
Eagles
gonna
have to win
play.
out, thinking like if the Lions win out and the Eagles win out, the Eagles get the tiebreaker. So I'm thinking unless the Lions lose another game or two,
Yeah.
I don't think they're resting their guys. They need to win the game for a bye.
All right. Well, let me ask you this though. You're trying to get the top pick. Who are you taking? Shador?
I
Who
don't
are you
even know.
taking?
I mean, I don't think I'm taking Cam Ward. I
Travis
mean,
Hunter?
the smart move is to trade back. Like let the Raiders give you the house and just pray that it's a Bryce Young situation. Because like what you can't do is like you can't fumble this pick. Like you pick once every so often, and the only way you get a good quarterback these days is by picking good quarterbacks or picking a quarterback every year until you get one. Like
Yeah.
in the later rounds, right? Like it's all about just darts that you could throw at the board. So to me, it's
But
like,
so you're saying trade back and then still take a
well, I'm
quarterback?
saying like if well, potentially, but I'm saying like if you're well, no, but like say the Raiders were at 2, the Giants are at 1, and the Raiders know like either they're taking Shadur or we're trading up. I would take Travis Hunter at number 2. Giants also need a cornerback, right? Like I'd rather have Travis Hunter and an extra first round pick next year in a good QB class where I could trade up than to panic and pick Shadur.
Who's in the good QB class next
But like,
year?
what if Shadur's good? Well, it should be Arch.
I Well, yes, I guess is he eligible next year? I guess so, but
I think.
I feel like he'll play 2 years. Maybe I'm wrong about that, especially with all I think with all the
Brother, if the
money,
Giants have it at the first pick, he would come out and go to the Giants. I mean, if he
it,
didn't, that'd be tough, but
that would be tough.
that'd be Justin
Uh
Herbert 2.0.
oh yeah, that's why he didn't come out.
Yeah, because we picked fucking Daniel Jones the year before. Like that's what we can't do is we can't pick Shadeur because even if we're terrible, then we're not going to pick. Like you're just not going to pick a quarterback
But
number one 2 years in
if
a
you
row.
had the 2 year buffer where you can almost guarantee,
Right, right. You know for sure he
yeah, it's
stinks.
like all
Then you're
right, like
like, okay,
if he stinks, we can,
it's enough. It's
just
enough. We can move on. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
All right,
But
so
the
that's
Giants
the
aren't going to do that. They're not. There's no way they're going to do that because the media stinks. John Mara brings it on himself, and right now they're going to panic and pick a QB to appease the fan base so that everybody gets off their ass about the poor QB situation they've had, and
but
it's just going to dig themselves further.
after the top two guys, there's nobody.
QB,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Cam
I mean that,
Ward.
yeah, but like you have to just like sign Kirk Cousins or just sign somebody that's like somewhat serviceable
Sam
and just know
Darnold.
that like you're sort of punting on the year. Like next year, the
Yeah.
Giants aren't a Super Bowl contender no matter what. So like just try to be as good as you can be and develop players and then get your guy the next year.
Well,
Because
you want to be
you
as good
also
as you
have
can
to
be.
realize like well, but I'm saying like you also have to think like if you think Shadir's not that good and you give him and like you let the Raiders have him, right? And they give you their next year's first round pick, you're almost like guaranteeing that the Raiders are going to be like, unless Shadir's nice, which is a double whammy. If he stinks, you're like, now you have the Raiders pick, which is a top five pick, like the Bears did with the Panthers. Like, even if Bryce Young was somewhat good, the Panthers were always going to be bad. You're getting another top five pick. Whereas
Yeah.
like some years teams are like they pick a guy and then they're good again. And then you're like, okay, now you're picking 15, like who cares?
Yeah.
But you're almost guaranteeing that you're going to get another top five pick next year plus whatever you do. So that's why you can kind of like sign a QB to be somewhat serviceable because you know you have that other pick.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's tricky because you almost don't want a guy. Well, yeah. I guess you have the other pick, so you could get Darnold or somebody like that.
That's what I'm saying. If you didn't have that other pick, this is a different story.
Yeah. So you okay? I get the strategy we're going with here. The Jets, on the other hand, keep winning games in December. I think I need to look at this, but the Jets may have like probably like the best record of teams, not of like general NFL teams, but if we look at a month by month basis over the last like 10 years, the Jets in December, it's probably their best month, and it's when they're always out of playoffs. So,
Yeah.
and they're just
Yeah.
fucking themselves on a
Yeah.
draft pick, which, even
Uh,
if the Jets get a top five draft pick, it's not going to work out. So I'm just at
what
this
are your
point, like,
thoughts
I don't
on
even
this
care.
Garrett Wilson trade? Wants to be
What
traded.
he wants to be traded. I mean, I would want to be traded too. Like your career's just gonna stink. You got nothing to look forward to. Uh, got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron's been playing a little bit better over the last 5 games, but it's a little bit too late. I do think that Aaron will be back next year. I just don't know if you have any better options. You're gonna be picking like 8, 9, 10. So you're not gonna draft a guy. I don't know.
I mean,
You
the
try to
Jets,
get
the it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the Jets ownership is too
yes,
involved in the day to day. So
exactly.
it doesn't, it literally does not matter. You might find a stroke of luck, and that's what happened in 2010.
Two
But
strokes, 2009.
right, well, that's what I'm saying. Like that era was a stroke of luck. Like if I know that the Madden rumors, right, of the Jerry Judy stuff,
Rumors.
they're all rumors, right? But what you can take away from that is I could see this picture clear as day. Woody Johnson, in theory, like doesn't care about the Jets. It's just like a side project for his greater good of life, right? So he's not that focused on it. Then when it's time to make a decision, like Aaron Rodgers, Devonta Adams, like these like hot names that everybody thinks are good, but they're past their prime. He's like talking about it like with his family and like going through it in his head before he makes a decision. And then his teenage son's chiming in with his thoughts. And then his dad's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. He must know what he's talking about. And that
Yeah.
leads to some decisions. And like in theory, that can't happen. And as long as that happens, like you either have to hope the son turns out to know what he's doing when he's running the team and down the line, or you're just always going to be screwed
They would need to sell the team.
because they've proven that they don't know
You
what to
know,
do.
that article, which also the Jets need to have. There's like a bug, a mole, a rat deep inside
It
the
has to,
Jets
no, no,
organization.
no, brother.
Maybe it's Joe Douglas. Maybe
It's that
yes.
people get so disgruntled, right? Like Joe Douglas, if he doesn't come out with this article, then people are going to assume there is some issue with Joe Douglas. So
Yes.
Joe
Yes.
Douglas is protecting himself by saying, look, this is an absolute shit show. So you can't like blame me for kind of what happened. Right. So
But
like they're protecting themselves. Like it has to be
but
coming from disgruntled people who leave the organization.
but even earlier in the year, there were some reports that the locker room was a mess, and I don't know. I feel like the Athletics always publishing an article about the Jets.
Well, yeah. Oh,
Diana
yeah.
Rossini. I don't know if Diana Rossini's commingled with somebody
Well,
in the front office or something, but it's just
who
it's
owns the
always the
Athletic?
New York Times, the fake New York Times.
Are they, would they have any reason to hate Woody Johnson?
No, I mean Johnson, the vaccines. We love vaccines at the New York Times. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
Big Pharma. They hate Big Pharma. I don't know. But the Athletic was also bought by the New York Times like 2 or 3 years ago. So it's not like
Yeah. Sure.
maybe somebody at the Athletic, like the top guy, hates the Jets or something. I don't know. But either way, there's always a leak. There's always something coming out, and I don't know who's leaking. It'd be funny if it was just fucking Aaron Rodgers leaking it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I mean,
I
that
mean,
would
I
be.
feel like that's kind of when stuff started to leak was when Rodgers came, and there's always been leaks, but I feel like the Athletics specifically, those leaks kind of coincided with Aaron coming to the team.
Right. Right. Correct.
So I don't know.
Correct.
But fuck Jets.
Yeah.
I'm a Bills Lions fan now, so go Bills and Lions.
Okay.
All right. I guess that's it. We'll wrap up with some, spoke some New York Jets, Giants, some New York football. Good luck to the participants this week, and we'll be back next week for the Super Bowl episode. Hopefully,
An
Chris,
ultimate episode. We'll do a year. We're going to do a year recap. So
your
next week will
recap.
be our second to last. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, please let us know this so we can incorporate them into our
Yes.
next episode.
Yeah, give us some crazy league ideas for next year if you have any proposals out there. I'd like to hear your thoughts. No two
Yeah,
QBs though. I don't want to hear anything about two QBs. We're not doing it.
I agree
All
with
right.
that.
All right. See you guys next week.
Yeah.